curious about something. How come you're so sure Isaiah's not coming back?
He may not. Won't matter. By then, we'll have found what we want, and we'll have moved on. 4 jacks. Can you beat that?
Last week's scene with Lucky and Holly was incredible. Lucky is such a talented actor, and I'm thrilled he's back. I really miss the great storylines GH used to have. Let's give this storyline some time to develop. GH fans can be pretty harsh sometimes. So Isaiah is unconscious, and Lucky is just sitting around playing cards day after day. They really need to speed this up. Most true fans love seeing former cast members return for special storylines. We're lucky to have Jonathan Jackson, Rick Herbst, and Emma Samms back at GH. I'm excited to see how these stories will intertwine. Unfortunately, some fans just can't seem to enjoy anything. It's time for Lucky to consider Plan B. Holly is deeply involved in her con, and, as usual, is only concerned with herself, unless her own life is at risk. Time is running out for Lulu. And let's talk about Lucky, who has been missing for about 15 years. He was a baby when he left, and now he's a young man who, as far as we know, hasn't shown any interest in his child. We're supposed to believe he's a great guy now. I'm really not a fan of this storyline. It seems like every time a character has been gone for too long, they end up being held captive. What's he even doing there? Why hasn't he seen his son since he was a baby? I used to like Lucky and thought he was a good guy, but they've turned him into a lousy father. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Sunny needs to turn the tables on Anna by finding Valentin and forcing him to admit to everything he's done. GH, I'll say it again. Portia, should Heather be released? Absolutely not. But Curtis is finally speaking my language. He's putting into words what I've been thinking. Heather had a medical condition. She had poison in her blood. Now that it's out of her system, she's seeing things more clearly. I mean, how many villains have we seen come through Port Charles and actually apologize to their victims? I'd say none. Still, I don't think she should be released. She should stay where she is. Molly and Christina, stop this fighting right now. You're sisters and need each other more than ever. Alexa's Eka mom won't choose between her girls. She loves all 3 of you equally. No one is above the other. So enough is enough. Forgive each other and move forward. It's time for a fresh start. Great job today, Jordan. You got the guy. Now that's what I call girl power. Holly, let Lucky go. He's needed back in Port Charles. Who cares about the diamonds? That's the least of Lucky's worries right now. His baby sister's life is at stake. Let Lucky go. Lives are worth more than diamonds. And Holly, you should know better than to mess with Laura's kids. When Laura finds out, you'll regret crossing the wrong family. Laura is just as fierce and protective over her children as Carly is. Dex gave Sunny a really interesting look when he was snitching about the gun safe, acting all smug like they wouldn't have found it during the search. It's not exactly insider info. He wasn't so smug when he was worried about dying. Dex acts high and mighty, but he worked with Sunny voluntarily. No one forced him. You've really got me defending Joss when I don't even like her, but right is right. People keep saying she needs to stay in a child's place and that it's none of her business. But this isn't just about her disliking who her mother dates. Her mother is risking federal prison for the 3rd time, and who do you think will end up caring for Donna? Joss and Michael, most likely. Plus, Sunny's lifestyle has repeatedly hurt her family. Sometimes you need to focus on the message, not the messenger. Joss was blunt, but she wasn't wrong or disrespectful. It's disheartening to see some viewers think Carly should have hit Joss for expressing her opinion in an emotional way. Carly handled the situation perfectly and maturely. Hitting someone doesn't earn their respect. Wow, watching Staying Alive. Anna was an amazing dancer back in the day. There are so many changes happening that it's overwhelming. My mother always said, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. All these cast changes and returns after years away are, well, I'm not even sure what to make of it. I've watched GH my entire adult life, and now it feels almost unrecognizable. It doesn't seem to have improved. It's just really odd, like something is out of sync. But I'll keep watching. I think most people have forgotten that Kim Nero had Julian's baby, and she named him Charlie. Izia called out Lucky's name to Elizabeth, yes. I'm so tired of Molly seeking attention and acting like it's all about her. Their mother is hurting too, and I hope Alexis doesn't start drinking again. Rick is now messing with the right person, because Curtis will confront him and stop him if he gets too close to TJ. Portia is going to alter the test results she was examining, and Elizabeth will catch her and expose the tampering. Anna is too eager, and everything she did today was wrong. I'm glad Diane showed up right on time without being called, especially since there was no probable cause. She questioned everyone who came to Sunny's house, knowing Jason was with her and Michael was at the Q estate. I'm also relieved Christina told Sunny the truth and that the real gun was an acid. I was worried Anna might catch Jason with the gun as he was putting it in acid. As for Alexis, Molly will represent her until she can get Diane, but Molly said she's done. So we'll see how it goes with your mom and sister. Did anyone catch James seeing Willow and Drew kissing at the boathouse? Does anyone think there was a reason for Maxie's son James to overhear or see Willow and Drew kiss at the boathouse the day he wandered off from the park and hid there? Were we supposed to forget this happened, or did I miss how it played out? Well, James had a pretty traumatic experience witnessing that kiss. It's likely it will resurface for him when he's older. As for Molly Lansing Davis, what do you think will happen when she finds out that Rick is turning in Alexis for throwing the gun in the water, which wasn't even used on Kate's? Will she side with her dad, who hasn't been there for her, or support Alexis and try to help her mom? My bet is Molly will quickly realize that Alexis ditched the gun to protect Christina. She'll likely support Rick. Even though the gun wasn't the murder weapon, it was still a bail violation for Christina to have it. From Molly's perspective, Alexis is once again risking everything to save Christina from her own actions. Rick doesn't know if the gun was used to kill Kate's. He reported what he saw and planted doubts in Chase's mind about Alexis' guilt. Given how unsupportive Alexis has been toward Molly, I can totally see Molly turning against her, and she'd be right to do so. After all, Molly worked so hard to practice law again, only to have her mother's actions put everything at risk. Lansing Ashford baby speculation or wildcard theory. Okay, this is pure speculation and flights of fancy, but I had an idea that I wanted to share. What if surrogate number 1 never actually miscarried and gave birth to a baby girl? She could show up in Port Charles soon with a child who is clearly mixed race. Maybe the baby is ill and she has no choice but to bring her to GH, or perhaps she feels guilty about lying and keeping the baby. Christina sees the baby girl and, in a psychotic state, mistakes her for Iron/Adela and kidnaps her. I'd love to see Christina sent to Shadybrook for a while, and her parents face the consequences of their overindulgence. I just realized something about Nell. Not only are Nell and Willow twins, and not only is Nell Nina's daughter, but Nell would also be Amelia's aunt, since Willow and Amelia are sisters. This means that Nell, being Silas Clay's daughter, would have made Kiki her half-sister. Additionally, Nell would be related to Britt, Nathan, and James, Maxie's son. Albrecht would be Nell's great-aunt. Imagine that. Rick and Ava, an unexpected pairing. Why not pair Rick with Ava? It actually makes a lot of sense. Both are somewhat outcasts, and what better way for Ava to stick it to Sunny than by being with Sunny's own brother? Rick and Sunny have a complicated relationship, but Rick and Ava could have great chemistry together. Avery is Rick's niece, so he isn't a stranger to her. But would Molly approve of her father being with Ava, especially given the situation with baby Iron? While Ava has chemistry with many people, Rick believes Ava was involved in his daughter's loss. Even if he argues that Christina's negligence was the cause, Molly would still be his priority. Unless they build up to it slowly, this pairing seems unlikely. I'm not entirely against it, but it would be a hard sell. I'm a bit indifferent about Rick and Ava. To me, they're a distant third choice, tied with Jason. Ava and Jagger were the us-against-the-world couple that the show hasn't had in years. Maura West has never looked better, and they had amazing chemistry. It's frustrating that the show discarded that pairing while other less popular ships like Austin and Maxie or Finn and Liz got extended runs. Ideally, they'd bring back HH and fix this. Ava and Nicholas also have unfinished business. Ava recently told Laura that she still loves Nicholas, and it seems mutual. Maura and Adam Huss have great chemistry, and there are plenty of potential storylines with Ava coming to terms with possibly being Ace's stepmother and finding out Spencer's whereabouts. Nava and Sprina could make a great family. Would Rick and Ava have chemistry? Absolutely. Both actors are magnetic, and Rick is very attractive, age-appropriate, and an outcast like Ava. However, Elizabeth will always be Rick's first choice, and since the actor is based on the East Coast, I don't see this pairing working long-term. Willow and Drew have an affair, which becomes a major scandal. Michael finds out and throws Willow out of the guest house, while Drew's political career crashes. As the scandal intensifies, Drew begins to unravel. He kidnaps Willow and reveals a shocking secret. He's not the real Drew. The real Drew died when Billy Miller left, and this Drew is actually one of Shiloh's cronies who underwent surgery to look like Drew. His real memories returned after a prison beating, but he chose to continue living as Drew. Drew's behavior becomes increasingly erratic. In a tense moment, Willow manages to defend herself and kills him. Nina arrives on the scene and, believing Willow is in shock, doesn't take her claims seriously. When the police arrive, Nina claims she killed Drew. They arrest her, assuming it's a case of a scorned woman seeking revenge. Nina turns to Rick for legal representation. Though Rick suspects Nina is hiding something, he's moved by her protective instincts as a mother. A hot new DA, played by Adam Harrington, shows interest in the case. He's also dating Ava, who's a single mom with a daughter in Avery's class. Nina confides in Ava, asking her to influence her new boyfriend. Ava is initially annoyed, but remembers she owes Nina after the Sunny fiasco. Willow, struggling with PTSD, eventually confides in Chase. He feels protective of her and suggests they investigate the Drew imposter and revisit Shiloh's old connections. They embark on a road trip, reconnect, and get drunk one night. Chase admits he might have rushed his marriage to Brooklyn because of his father's illness and reveals lingering feelings for Willow. Let's talk about Joss and Trina. Why are they living in the garage apartment instead of a regular apartment? It's a bit odd, right? I mean, why not give them a more traditional living space if they're going to be main characters? Then there's Laura asking Tracy to take an Ace. This just doesn't make sense to me. Tracy and Ace don't have any direct blood relation. It seems like a strange request, especially when considering the complex family dynamics among the Corinthos, Weber, Spencer, and Cassadine clans. Sasha's storyline is another head-scratcher. She's wasted as a cook at the Quartermain mansion, where we only see her cooking for her ex and her friends. It's a missed opportunity for a more engaging storyline. I was hoping for a major crisis at the Q's, but it looks like those days are behind us. My guess is that budget cuts have forced the show to use the Quartermain mansion as the primary set for home scenes. It seems like the only set that gets regular use now. And did anyone else notice the staircase in Joss and Trina's apartment doorway? More apartments for the cast, perhaps. For Joss and Trina, it seems like their presence in the garage apartment is just a plot device to have them bump into Gio all the time. It's a bit of a stretch, but seems to be the reason behind their odd living situation. And what about Sasha's placement? It looks like they couldn't figure out another way to have her interact with Cody and develop their relationship. Historically, how many people lived on the Quartermain property? I remember a few key characters and the guest house, but now there's a garage apartment too. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.